Can I sit in?
Let me see the dollar.
I'll give you $1 if you speak your water. I'll show you how $1.
$10.
I got it. I swear I got it.
Well, you have to pay for it.
Yes, he does.
I think it's already Now are we going?
Pretty soon.
Now?
Pretty soon.
What?
Where do I put it? Where do I put it?
On the bar.
Really?
Oh, I caught that on tape.
Put it in your pocket.
Fire. His wife and bride was leaving years of his own for some time, but
Both house.
his best known efforts are the daytime dramas, Bold and Beautiful, Restless, Mrs. Dawson, Beloved. Many years, Bell sold the estate. It's weird, isn't it?
Now, I don't want you to show any preference in this picture, but make sure you show my face really good, okay?
All right, good. Let's have our back row. Everybody in the back row is about 6 inches.
Wait, you're going to tell us when you're ready, right?
Ready? First one doesn't count.
First one doesn't count.
Now we're ready, guys. Front row, switch your feet over just a little to your left. And with your feet, just put your feet right on the ground.
Wait, I have a bug on me.
Pick up. Both feet on the ground.
Sit up straight. Sit up straight.
And everybody look at me and say, that's the last one. This is the last one. I can keep going. Okay.
Woo! We'll never be that close again.
Oh, I'm trying to get it.
Goals are small.
We'll go back over there for a while. Are you
Me
staying
too.
here? You think he's okay?
Yeah.
We're going to start our program in 5 minutes. For those of us that have family members all about, we have a lot of recognition we're going to do this afternoon.
You won't play it.
Well, I don't know, where do you know?
I want you.
Hi, bud.
I really do. I want to get work. First 2 days, I need to get my I just, when I talked to you,
No, who called you back? Well, yeah, they're going to have...
Was a descendant of Elvira Schueneman, who was the daughter of Lambert John Schueneman, who was the son of John Schueneman. Wow. Johann. So we hope that by the time this reunion's over with, all of us could do that through our respective families. My co-host for the program, I will let him introduce himself.
I am George Kaus, son of Mary Dorland. Over there, see, she's over there. She's the book woman, of which everyone must buy a copy. Who is daughter of Elvira Schueneman.
Wow.
Who is the daughter of John Lambert. Lambert John. I've only been working on this for 2 years with my mom on the book, I should know. Okay, no more tests.
George, by the way, if you've been on the internet, George is the one who gets complete credit for doing the entire job. It was a massive, massive job for him to put all of the family information on the internet. Probably the hardest task we had of all. Just a few quick announcements before we begin the program. If you have not registered, we still have registration tables that are open. There's information we're asking you to complete, and of course, that you stop by at the table to pay for the cost of running this afternoon's event. Everything from the food to the some of the miscellaneous materials that we have, so it would help us if everyone made sure they stopped there. We also have a picture schedule for those of you who are interested in having family pictures. We have a professional photographer who is inside. You don't have to buy any pictures. They'll give you a proof. You can decide for yourself. But we're also going to afterwards produce a collection of family photographs that we're going to put into a little newsletter that, if you like, we will mail to you. So I would encourage you to participate in the family picture schedule. Sack race, wheelbarrow race, ping pong ball race. Over here we have games of skill. I hope everyone here participates in the shoe toss. You know, that's an old Schueneman family reunion tradition, the shoe toss. Who can't do a shoe toss? Schueneman shoe toss. Now, we have for you the Fun and Game reunion flyer. We also have a tug of war that we would like to have. That's another Schueneman tradition. And we have clans, a family like the Christon family, the Durland family, and others. They're just examples that are on this flyer. We're going to have a tug of war at 5 o'clock. That will require teams of 10, 4 of whom must be female. Okay? So we're hoping to get some tug of war going. Now, just for a few minutes, we would like to start the recognition part of our family reunion, which begins, of course, in the early 1800s. When the first from Europe, the Irish, the English, the Scandinavians, the Italians, and almost in total population, the largest group were Germans, who came to America seeking economic opportunity, searching for religious freedom, and that would include Protestants, Catholics, atheists, carving out individual communities in this largely unsettled American wilderness. In 1848, for example, Wisconsin was entered into the American Union as a state. This was still part of the wilderness. Some came to avoid German conscription, the draft in Germany, a notion that was begun by Napoleon during the Napoleonic Wars just a few years before. Among that wave of Germans, of course, came Johann Schueneman and Maria Catherine Greitenbert. Johann was, I'm going to probably mispronounce every name, okay? So I'm sorry. I'm just going to do the best I can do. Johann was born in 1819, thank you, George. And he passed away in 1888. His wife, Maria, was born in 1822 and predated him in death in 1882. Their graves are next to the church, and as a part of the tour at the end of our program, you can visit their gravesite. They came to us from Ochtrup, Westphalia, Germany, a central western state of Germany. They arrived here before the word electricity was ever heard of. Steam engines didn't exist. Sailboats was the only way to capture power. Telephones had never been heard of. Paved roads were a thing of the future. In fact, slavery was a very common thing across the southern states of America. When they arrived, they begat 7 children. We are here to honor, of the 7, the descendants of 5 of those children. And that's where you are, and that's where you come in. These 5 children entered into this world here in this community, Johnsburg, Illinois, speaking primarily the language German. That was our primary language, as well as the German customs of our family. Inside bathrooms had never been heard of yet. These were the children of the American Civil War. Most of the West still belonged to the Indians. This was the great age of invention, 1848 to 1958. The last age of exploration around the world. The interior of Africa was finally discovered. Contact with Japan and expansion of the European Empire occurred. George is now going to recognize the 5 families whom we are here to honor. George?
Okay, I have to remember which one I remember. Okay. All right, we're going to start with Lambert John, which is my family. Lambert John Schueneman married Wilhelmina Minnie Kunert. Mom, this is my mother. I'd like for her to sit right here because she can whisper in my ear, and she knows this. Lambert John was born in 1850, and he died in 1928. He was 78 years old. For that period of time, he was an older gentleman when he died. So we want to recognize all the descendants of Lambert John Schueneman. If you would stand up, please. Lambert John Schueneman. See who all your closest next to kin are. He's the oldest with descendants. Okay? All right, you can sit down now. Nicole. Okay. Next was Elizabeth Schueneman. She was born in 1852, died in 1916. She was 64 years old, and she married Bernard Theodore Christen. Christen or Christan? I just want to see if you knew. Christan. So we would like to recognize that strand of the family over here. Elizabeth Schueneman. All these red folks, they're real kind of short. They're the short ones. All right, thank you. Of course, in Mass, they had to have the front rows so that they could see and nobody could see over. All right, next we go to Albert John Schueneman. Albert John was born in 1855, died in 1930, 75 years old. He married Barbara Fagel, right? Barbara Fagel. All right, we need those folks to stand up. Descendants of Albert John Schueneman. Boy, here's a big crowd. They came out. Look, here's a little one. And a dog that wanted to be recognized as part of this crowd. All right, now we move on to Catherine Ann Schueneman, born in 1862, died in 1958. Now, she was 96 years old when she died. Oh, 1958. She married Bernard Dow Ben. Ben, Mom? That's the last name?
That's his nickname.
Bernard Dow. Okay. So we need to recognize those folks. Descendants of Catherine Ann Schueneman. Where are they? Whoa! I know that those folks came all the way from Seattle to be with us. And finally, Gerhard Heinrich Schueneman was born in 1864, died in 1942. He was 78, so we live long lives. All right, descendants of Gerhard Heinrich Schueneman, please. There we go. There we go. Okay, we got to thank those folks that came from a long way back. All right, we have something for them a little later on. All right, I turn it over to my able co-host, whose handwriting I have problems with.
One of the things that characterizes German people is being well organized and efficient. Notice how well organized the Christen family is. So I would say they get the award for being the best organized German descendant family. However, in the very back, was that the Catherine Ann group that way back there, that large table? No, that was the who was Dow. Anyway, the group in the very back is the smartest group because the sun is going to put the shade of this tree on those tables in probably about an hour for the rest of the afternoon. Now, we want to take a quick generational tour because now we want to just for a moment recognize those born between the 1870s and 1900. This is generation number 3. This is the generation that fought in World War I. I'm going to check. This is the group that experienced the invention of automobiles and airplanes. As young adults, they went through the Prohibition and Roaring 20s. Women gained the right to vote during this generation. This was the last generation to hear spoken German at home. And I think largely the effect, I'm speaking for my family, because of World War I and the events of Europe. Is there anyone, I don't think there is, Mary says there's not, but I don't think there's anyone from that generation here. Is there anyone from here? Mary says it's one survivor, and she's the wife of a Schueneman who is not here today. There's one survivor from that generation. But it's in the Dow family. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, let's give that generation, we'll pass on a round of applause to her, okay? Would you help us do that? Thank you. Even though she's not here. Now we go to generation number 4. And we have good turnout on generation number 4 because this is the generation born between 1900 more or less and the 1930s. You see, in fact, we would ask you to stand up. Could you, anyone born between 1900 and the 1930s, please stand. Please stand. Give them a round of applause. Do not sit down. Stay standing. Look, there's Tim. There's Joanne. Very good. Stay standing because you were born before television. You were born before penicillin. You were born before frozen foods. Xerox machines were not heard of. Plastic was an unknown thing. Contact lenses. No one had heard of the pill in your generation when you were born. You see, you were born before radar, before credit cards, before laser beams and ballpoint pens. You were born before pantyhose. You were born before dishwashers, clothes dryers.
We're going to go do the typical recognitions. We need to know the oldest person here. So, okay, let's go to the person who can lie the best about their age. Now let's go oldest. We have a 70. We have a 70 plus. Wait, we got 80s over here. 80s? 85. Beat that. 85. Going once. Going twice. 3 times. I need a name. Marcella Schueneman.
Marcella of the Albert family, we have a special gift for you. This is from Auchtrupp, Germany. Brian, quickly, would you take this to Marcella? Thank you very much, my able nephew. Should we show it? Oh, okay, let's show it to everybody. Here we go. Very quick. This is Mary Derlin went to Oak Troop to research our family. Please buy the book. It's all in that. It's fabulous. And she brought this from Oak Troop. We'd like to give this to you. It's just a little memento. So thank you very much for being here.
Christine, they have twins. Wait, we'll come to you, Tom. We'll come to you. To remember when to feed them, we have an AM/FM clock radio for you, just in case that they oversleep in the morning. Tom is from Canada. They live in California.
Is there any family here with more than 6 children?
Now we're talking about immediate family.
Immediate.
Mom, dad, and immediate children only. How many are we over here? No, just most children, not here.
No, not here.
Most children.
Had the most,
7.
had 7 children.
Wait, we have, who has 8? Betty? Where's Betty Byer?
7.
Oh, well, she says 7. I know your book is correct. Okay. All right, so that gives her the advantage, I think. That gives her the advantage. Betty wins it, over here. Where's our missing grid? Okay, ready, grandpas and grandma?
You can't imagine how many hours of work this was. But Janet really deserves our love and special recognition for this. And no, you can't say other people too. This is you, Janet. We are here because of Janet organizing this.
Thank you, but there is no way that I could have ever done what I did without all of you who responded, who called, who jumped on board when it came to, who jumped on board to help me. It's been a long weekend. Who jumped on board to help me. My husband just took a couple of big committees and ran with them. My sons have been working on them. My sisters, my brothers, my cousins we didn't even know we had, and now we're all one big happy family. Thank all of you. And you can all thank yourselves for coming out today and doing the wonderful job that you all have. Thanks. And I forgot my co-chair, who got me out of many crises. A round of applause for Derlin, please.
All right, and finally, of course, is it not appropriate that really it was the inspiration of Mary Derlin that brought us here. Mary, please come up. This was the idea of Mary Derlin to bring us together after 150 years of family history. Mary is the one who has researched, she has worked. It was her idea. She was our inspiration. She is the soul of our family. Mary Derlin, thank you so much for your inspiration and Janet's work. I'm sure I forgot a half dozen announcements, but you know what? It's time to quit. So again, have a great afternoon. Finance table, please stop that. And there is an overall picture of all of us. We have a big camera. Large group photo after dinner. After we finish dinner, we'll get back on the PA and announce it. We're going to have it on the baseball field. It'll be a helicopter flying overhead. We're going to go to the center field. If we can just slowly get out there, we'll announce it to get out there for one gigantic picture that will be available for members of the family to purchase if they'd like. Because after all, while we have not planned the next 150th anniversary, we've scheduled it, right? Right? Okay, please, I encourage all of you, there's a special event going on in the church on our behalf. In fact, we're a big part of that. Shouldn't take very long. Those of you who do not want to go, feel free to start the meal, though I do encourage everyone, it's going to be pretty interesting. It will not last very long. Thank you very much for being here today.